Well, first of all, I believe that we need to be focusing on balancing the budget of the state of Minnesota before we start putting more money on the state's credit card. The bonding bill, I don't know if it's just the nature of the fact that it's an election year or what, but it is full of pork. And the governor put forth a very reasonable bonding bill, somewhere a little over $700 million. And if it were up to me, being the conservative that I am, I would probably just have funded flood mitigation and a few MnSCU maintenance projects and called it a day. But there are some other worthy items in the governor's bonding bill. Public safety is one of the primary functions of state government, and he did have, I believe it was 70 or 90 million in there for the sex offender treatment center at Moose Lake. Now, I understand that's a controversial project, but we do not want these people turned back out on the street, and we can only have them in prison until the end of their term, and then it's either the street or putting them in a facility like this. Not an ideal choice by any stretch of the imagination. One of the other things that the governor did to go along with that in his State of the State was he proposed doubling the sentences, the mandatory sentences of sex offenders of a certain level. And I believe that that is a fantastic solution to the problem. Just make sure these people never get out of prison. So there were some worthy projects that the governor had. There were some worthy projects in this bonding bill, but it's full of pork. It's full of, there's $2 million for a sculpture garden in Minneapolis. There's, I've got all the highlights here in one spot here. There's over $21 million for state trail acquisition and development. And I even had some folks in here today that they lobby for a trail in their district, just everyday citizens, and they even understood that this is a want, not a need. And you would think that if they got it, that perhaps the legislators that are behind putting this bonding bill together would have gotten that message as well. There's also money in there for a women's hockey center in Blaine, a national volleyball center in Rochester, and a Northwest Regional Sports Center in Moorhead. All those things are nice to have, but many of those similar projects are built entirely through private donations and the work of citizens in those particular areas. So I think that that's what we need to set up as the model, is running, raising funds for projects like that on the local level instead of asking taxpayers from all over the state of Minnesota to help fund a project that's only going to have significance in one area of the state. Again, one more time, those $11 million gorilla cages at Como Zoo were also included. I think you folks probably get the idea that there was a lot of pork and a lot of things in this bill, items in this bill, that weren't a priority, that aren't reasonable or responsible, and are not good uses of the taxpayers' money.